Coffee is an invigorating beverage that is loved all over the world. But what if the wrong consumption of this habitual beverage can lead to serious health problems and, in some cases, fatal? In this video, we will tell you about the 10 most dangerous situations when coffee becomes a real poison and threatens your life. We have arranged the items in ascending order of danger, so watch the video to the end and find out what you absolutely must not do to avoid catastrophic consequences. This video will be extremely informative and helpful. So, if you want to become a master of your health, click like, and let's get started. Number 10. Coffee becomes poison when combined with fatty and sweet desserts. When we combine coffee with copious portions of fatty and sweet desserts such as pastries, cream croissants, or cakes with buttery layers, this seemingly innocent pleasure can create a devastating load on our bodies. The powerful caffeine hit stimulates the metabolism, causing the pancreas to actively secrete insulin to cope with the sugar intake. However, fatty desserts complicate the digestive system. The liver and pancreas face a double load, processing caffeine and saturated fat at the same time. This strain wears down the organs, increasing the risk of inflammatory processes such as pancreatitis, when the pancreas becomes inflamed due to overactivity. According to a study by the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases, NIDDK, excessive consumption of fats combined with sugars increases the risk of inflammation and pancreatic disease by 40%. And frequently combining coffee with desserts can increase the risk of obesity by 25% by stimulating appetite and slowing down the breakdown of fat. In addition, such snacking triggers blood sugar spikes, which over the years can lead to type 2 diabetes, especially if desserts regularly accompany every cup of coffee. To minimize your risk, avoid dense fatty desserts along with your coffee. Replace them with light snacks, such as a handful of nuts or a piece of low-sugar dark chocolate. This will allow you to enjoy your favorite beverage without harming your body, keeping your liver and pancreas healthy. By the way, grateful people who put likes live longer on average by 7 to 10 years compared to indifferent or haters. Read the study in the description below the video. Number 9. Coffee becomes poison if you drink it before bedtime. A cup of coffee before bed may seem appealing, especially after a long day when you want to relax a little and enjoy a flavorful beverage. However, caffeine, that insidious stimulant, creeps into the body and begins to work against the natural sleep cycle by suppressing the production of melatonin, the hormone that is responsible for falling asleep and the depth of sleep. Disrupted sleep phases lead to shallow, restless rest, causing the body to not get the recovery it needs. This chronic sleep deprivation accumulates, leaving a person vulnerable to a spectrum of problems, from decreased immunity to chronic fatigue, depression, and deteriorating cardiovascular function. According to the National Sleep Institute, NSF, regular coffee consumption before bed reduces sleep depth by 20%, which weakens the body's ability to recover and lowers its defenses by 30%. And research from the American Heart Association, AHA, found that chronic sleep deprivation caused by such habits increases the risk of cardiovascular disease by 25%. These effects accumulate, turning that favorite cup of coffee before bed into a potential health hazard. To avoid the devastating effects associated with sleep disruption, it's best to avoid coffee 6 to 8 hours before bedtime. Replace it with herbal tea or warm water with lemon, which will help you relax without harming your body. Number 8. Coffee becomes poison if consumed too hot. The habit of drinking coffee of scalding temperature, even though it seems cozy, carries a hidden danger. Hot coffee that exceeds 65 degrees Celsius creates an extreme impact on the esophageal mucosal tissues. Each cup consumed in a hurry seems to envelop the esophagus with red-hot heat, which causes microscopic damage and micro-traumas. These regular burns can lead to chronic inflammation, mucosal irritation, and even long-term dangerous cellular changes. The American Cancer Society indicates that constant exposure to excessively hot beverages increases the likelihood of developing esophageal cancer by 90%. The effects of high heat are just as damaging as exposure to chemical irritants. At temperatures of 70 degrees Celsius and above, the risk of cancerous changes in esophageal cells increases dramatically, forcing the body to fight off damage and inflammation. These findings are supported by a study by the National Cancer Institute in the United States, which singles out hot beverages as a significant risk factor for esophageal cancer. To enjoy your coffee safely, wait at least 5 minutes after brewing it, letting it cool down to less than 60 degrees Celsius. Use a thermometer or just trust your intuition. Warm but not hot. Coffee retains all the flavor and aroma, protecting your health from unnecessary risks. Number 7. Coffee becomes poison if you drink it when dehydrated. When your body is already suffering from lack of fluids, any cup of coffee with its strong diuretic properties can be a serious blow to your health. Caffeine stimulates the kidneys to excrete fluids, increasing urination and accelerating the loss of essential minerals such as potassium and magnesium, which are vital for water-salt balance and kidney health. A body that is already fluid deficient begins to lose fluid even faster, and the kidneys are forced to work in overdrive. Without adequate hydration, their filtering capacity is reduced, and this can lead to the accumulation of waste and toxins, as well as the formation of painful kidney stones. Studies by the American Kidney Association have shown that people who drink coffee when dehydrated have a 35% increased risk of kidney stones. This is because the concentration of mineral salts in the urine increases, creating ideal conditions for stone crystallization. Over time, such stresses can weaken kidney function and lead to chronic disease. In addition to the kidneys, the cardiovascular system and overall body health also suffer, as dehydration reduces blood volume, which makes it harder for the heart to function and can cause headaches, fatigue, and even cognitive impairment. To avoid these effects, make sure you drink enough clean water before drinking coffee, especially if you already feel thirsty. For every cup of coffee, drink 2 glasses of water to offset its diuretic effect and maintain normal hydration levels. Number 6. Coffee becomes poison if you drink it on an empty stomach. Morning coffee on an empty stomach is a habit of millions of people, but few people know the devastating effect it can have on health. When coffee enters an empty stomach, it dramatically increases acidity, causing the stomach to produce hydrochloric acid intensely. This acidic flow does not meet any food that would neutralize it or slow its effects, and it begins to irritate the sensitive walls of the stomach. Gradually, the mucous membrane thins, losing its protective barrier, and the body is defenseless against an aggressive acidic environment. As a result, regular consumption of coffee on an empty stomach can lead to gastritis and even peptic ulcer disease when the damage to the mucosa is so severe that painful ulcers are formed. According to the American Gastroenterological Association, AGA, about 30% of people who systematically drink coffee on an empty stomach experience chronic gastritis and stomach pain within 5 years, and 15% have an increased risk of developing peptic ulcers. Constant stomach irritation leads to inflammation and pain that gradually develops into serious digestive disorders. To avoid such consequences, try to drink a glass of water or a light breakfast before your first cup of coffee. You can also have a coffee drink with a little milk or cream to reduce the acidity level. Number 5. Coffee becomes poison if you wash down medications with it. Coffee, with its powerful stimulating effects, can be a dangerous companion for those who are taking medications. Many drugs, from painkillers to antidepressants, interact with caffeine, which can increase their side effects. For example, studies by the United States National Institutes of Health have shown that combining coffee with certain painkillers increases the burden on the liver by more than 35%. The liver has to process both the caffeine and the drugs, causing it to become overloaded, inflamed, and even damaged cells. In addition, caffeine accelerates the absorption of some drugs, causing them to take effect faster and stronger than intended. For the kidneys, this acceleration can be a real challenge. The enhanced effect of some drugs leads to increased filtration, which poses a risk to kidney function and even contributes to stone formation. Experts from the American College of Gastroenterology warn that coffee with painkillers can irritate the gastric mucosa, causing aggravation of ulcers and inflammation. To avoid these dangerous effects, it is recommended to take the medication at least 30 minutes before or after coffee. Tea or plain water without additives will be a much safer choice for drinking medications. Number 4. Coffee becomes poison if you add a lot of sugar. A delicious and familiar cup of coffee with a few spoonfuls of sugar seems like a harmless joy, but behind this sweet pleasure lies a dangerous chemistry. Coffee itself already affects the metabolism by stimulating the release of adrenaline and raising blood glucose levels. But when excess sugar is added, the body faces a real challenge. The pancreas is forced to release insulin dramatically to utilize the sugar spike, and these regular shifts force it to work at its best. According to the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute, NHLBI, frequently adding sugar to coffee increases the risk of developing type 2 diabetes by 35%, as the body gets used to the high load on the pancreas and gradually loses insulin sensitivity. In addition, the combination of sugar and caffeine stimulates appetite, and according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, people who drink sweet coffee daily are 20% more likely to be obese. In addition, this sweet combination raises bad cholesterol levels, which negatively affects cardiovascular function and increases the risk of atherosclerosis. The solution? Give up sugar in coffee or replace it with natural sweeteners such as stevia or a small amount of cinnamon, which will give the drink a sweet flavor without harming your health. You can also try drinking coffee with plant extracts, such as almond milk, which will add a slight sweetness without insulin spikes. Number 3. Coffee becomes poison if you drink it during pregnancy. When a mom-to-be reaches for a cup of flavored coffee, it may seem like a simple pleasure, but the caffeine lurking in this beverage carries a potential threat to her baby. Once through the placenta, caffeine quickly enters the fetus's body, and its tiny heart and nervous system are not yet ready for such exposure. Research from the National Institute of Child Health and Human Development, NICHD, has shown that even moderate doses of caffeine increase the risk of preterm labor by 20% and can lead to underweight newborns, which is associated with long-term health consequences. Caffeine can also slow the development of the nervous system, as babies' bodies cannot eliminate it quickly. As a result of high doses of caffeine, there is a possibility of impaired brain and nervous system formation, which can affect the mental and physical development of the child. In addition, studies by the U.S. National Institute of Health, NIH, indicate that drinking coffee during pregnancy in significant amounts increases the likelihood of miscarriage by 30%. Which is a shocking statistic for every woman dreaming of a healthy offspring. It is crucial for expectant moms to control the amount of caffeine they consume. By avoiding coffee completely for the duration of pregnancy, you can reduce all the above risks. But if it is difficult, replace coffee with caffeine-free drinks, such as herbal teas or warm water with lemon, which is not only safe, but also supports the body with vitamins. Number 2. Coffee becomes poison if you drink it along with energy drinks. When you combine coffee with energy drinks, you create a deadly cocktail for your heart and nervous system. In each portion of caffeine and taurine, which are so generously added to energy drinks, there is a colossal load on the body. The effect of this mix literally explodes the internal processes. The heart rate increases, blood vessels narrow, blood pressure rises, and the nervous system is on alert. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, 1 in 4 hospitalizations related to energy drinks is due to their combination with caffeine. This is due to the fact that the total dose of caffeine in such use often exceeds the safe limit, reaching about 400 milligrams in one sitting. This extreme impact on the body can lead to a hypertensive crisis, a condition where the blood pressure rises so dramatically and so high that there is an increased risk of ruptured blood vessels, which in turn can cause a stroke or heart attack. This is especially dangerous for those who are not even aware of their cardiovascular problems or predisposition to them. It has been estimated that drinking 1 can of energy drink and 1 large cup of coffee increases the likelihood of a hypertensive crisis by 30%. To avoid such dangerous consequences, replace energy drinks with something less aggressive. For example, instead, drink a cup of green tea or eat a handful of nuts, which will support the body with mild energy and without a dangerous blow to the heart. And finally, the most important item on our list. Number 1. Coffee becomes poison when combined with alcohol. At first glance, coffee and alcohol seem to be an invigorating and even attractive combination, but behind it lies an insidious threat to the body. This duo deceives our brain into thinking that we are awake and full of energy, although in fact alcohol relaxes and caffeine stimulates the nervous system. Such contradictory effects confuse the body, which tries to cope with two opposite effects at once. Caffeine speeds up the heartbeat, increasing the strain on the heart, while alcohol gradually depresses the nervous system, slowing the body's reactions. Together, they disrupt the heart and blood vessels, causing arrhythmias and excessive dehydration. A study conducted by the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute, NHLBI, found that regularly combining caffeine with alcohol increases the risk of cardiovascular disease by 30%, and people with a predisposition to hypertension are nearly 50% more likely to have a heart attack. Even more alarming is the fact that this combination contributes to intoxication as the body loses water at a much faster rate. Dehydration depletes cells, which slows down repair processes and weakens the immune system. The liver and kidneys are overloaded trying to neutralize the toxic components of alcohol and cope with the diuretic effect of caffeine at the same time. To reduce the risk, refuse such a dangerous combination. If you want to drink coffee at a party, do it well before drinking alcohol or after, when the body has time to recover. Remember, the ideal time for coffee and for alcohol are different, and it is best not to mix them so as not to put your heart and blood vessels under undue stress. List of sources in the description below the video. Watch these videos next, and I look forward to your likes and comments.